times. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yoso bhante ariya savako tathagate ekantagato abhippasanno naso tathagate va tathagata sasane va kankeya va vichikicchaya vati. Dear friends in Dhamma, so basically during a Dhamma sermon we take a certain sutta which is helpful to us, and we are trying to discuss that so that we are learning something and we are gaining some guidance from such suttas for our practice. This time I thought of taking such a beautiful sutta which is named as Apana Sutta. Basically this has happened between the Buddha and his chief disciple Sariputta. You know, Venerable Sariputta is the chief disciple of the Buddha, and both of them at that time were living in the country called Anga. There's a village called Apana, so that is the place they were residing. And at that time Buddha asked an interesting question like this. Yoso Sariputta Ariyasavako Tathagate Ekantagato Abhippasanno Apinuso Tathagateva Tathagata Sasaneva Kankeyava Vichikicchayavati. Now Venerable Sariputta assumed that there is a person who has a well dedicated faith about the Buddha, but is he going to have any kind of a doubt, any kind of a perplexity about the Buddha or about the teaching? What do you think? So the question is, now there is a person who has certain amount of faith on the Buddha, and that is a fairly good faith, fairly dedicated faith coming from his own heart, a very honest kind of faith. And Buddha is asking from Venerable Sariputta, is he going to have any doubt or any kind of perplexity about the Buddha, about his teaching, maybe at a later time? So this is a question that Buddha is asking from Venerable Sariputta. So we know that faith is something kind of shady or little not really strong at the beginning. Say we as children say we being Buddhist because our parents are Buddhist, and some may be having faith because of maybe certain kind of influence. Maybe they have gone through a retreat, so the faith has arisen. Maybe the country has certain population who are mostly the Buddhist or some other religion, so they have a certain amount of faith. So many reasons are there for us to have that initial faith. Say for example in Sri Lanka, say our parents are Buddhist, so we also became Buddhist. So when they are going to the temple also, we also went along with them. They are going to the pagoda, we also went to the pagoda. They also offer dana, so we also offered dana. So that is how we are growing up. So that very kind of a basic kind of a faith, which is not really rooted on the facts, isn't it? So it's a very kind of a namely Buddhist. So that's what the majority who are just name is there in their birth certificate. What's your religion? Buddhist. And so sometimes they want to change the religion. That's also not a big deal, and they may change it. Maybe because of their marriage, probably they want to change the religion, and probably there may be an influence coming from some other authorities, some other sides. Probably they may change the religion. So those are also we can hear here and there. Not a kind of unfamiliar thing. So these things are also happening. So in that sense, the faith is not that well rooted, not really strongly established in them. And we can say that people are still having faith with other religions as well. Say they may have faith on the Christianity, on the Jesus. Maybe someone has faith on the god Ganesh. So whoever. So likewise, different people have different faiths. So sometimes therefore it is called as the Amulika Saddha, where there is no proper ground, there is no proper roots, there is no real conviction. They have some kind of a faith, some kind of a trust, but not really factual. But anyway, in this question, Buddha is asking kind of a dedicated kind of a faith. Saddhassa Ariyasavako Tathagata Ekantagato, Abhipassana Ekantagato. So he fairly have a strong faith on the Buddha, that Buddha is the Samma Sambuddha. And Abhipassana, so he is fairly very pleasant about Buddha's character. And he might have read all the past events, the history and all. So it's quite pleasing about how Buddha has gone through his lifestyle. So likewise, very good such kind of a faith is there. Anyway, Buddha is asking this question from Venerable Sariputta. So we'll see what is his answer, Venerable Sariputta's answer. So he says, Yoso bhante ariyasavako tathagate ekantagato abhippasanno na so tathagateva tathagata sasaneva kankeyava vichikicchayavati. So he too answers telling Bhante, so if a person is having such a dedicated kind of faith, and he basically have selected you as his teacher, you as his refuge, and he is quite pleasant about the teaching, and he has a great faith about that teaching, then there can't be any kind of a wavering, there can't be any kind of a doubt, there can't be any kind of a perplexity about the Buddha and the Dhamma. So we can understand, yes, Sariputta admitted, yes, there's a good faith, Buddha is asking like that, so then there can't be such a perplexity, there can't be any doubt. But Venerable Sariputta does not stay there, or rather stop there, and he now trying to justify his answer. And he is telling further, Saddhassahi Bhante, Ariya Savakassa Etam Patikankam. Bhante, if he is having faith, now he can expect something like this. What it is? Yang Aradha Viriyo Viharissati Akusalanam Dhammanam Pahanaya Kusalanam Dhammanam Upasampadaya Thamava Dalha Parakkamu Anikitta Duro Kusalesu Dhammesu. Now, if someone is having faith, rather than just stopping there, rather than being satisfied there, he can expect another step. What is that step? He is telling, Yang Aradha Viriyo Viharissati. So he start arousing some energy, arousing some effort. Aradha Viriyo Viharissati. For what? Akusalanam Dhammanam Pahanaya. Now he wants to abandon what is unwholesome. Kusalanam Dhammanam Upasampadaya. He wants to develop what is wholesome. And for that, Thamava, so he is having a strong energy, strong effort. Dalha Parakkamo, firm in his exertion. Anikitta Duro Kusalesu Dhammesu. He is not going to give up whatever the task that he has undertaken to develop these wholesome states. Now you can see, mere faith is not where Venerable Sariputta is appreciating. Now he is adding another aspect, that is the effort. So effort is a must, and that is also has to be a kind of a strong effort. Because at the beginning we know that the defilements are pretty strong, and there may be various influences coming from the society. Society is always trying to grab us towards sensual desires and allowing us to, carried away by various waves, again and again coming and going in the society. And there are various other internal conflicts, maybe our desires, cravings, and that also sometimes going against this faith. And sometimes when we are faithful, sometimes we may miss certain opportunities. See, someone is promising, okay, if you come to this, they are going to provide a house. We are going to provide this thing. We are going to provide that thing. So if we are trying to keep our faith, so then we are not getting that opportunity. So on such situation, are we going to have strong effort to avoid that? Still continuing our path. So you need to have a certain amount of effort, even amidst all those kind of difficulties, still maintaining your practice, still maintaining your effort to abandon unwholesome states and to develop wholesome states. And you know this, the abandonment of unwholesome states and development of wholesome states may not happen naturally. So typically our minds are clever to develop unwholesome states. Suppose that you are looking at a movie, it has something exciting, and you may really admire that particular incident and all that is happening naturally. It is not that you are purposely doing that. It's a kind of a natural instinct that we naturally love that kind of excitement. So that's why these exciting movies are very popular and they are breaking the records and all. And if movies are pretty boring, then no records at all. It doesn't even being shown. So if a movie to be a popular one, it may have to have a lot of maybe gunfights or sexual abuse or rapings and maybe a really dirty thing, and all that has to be included here and there. Not totally, maybe a very kind of romantic something is also have to be there. So different categories of people are now attracted, so the movie become very successful. So that is how they know how exactly the human instincts are working. So they address to them. So different crowds are now going to see that particular part, and so the film become very successful. But developing effort here is going against the grain. So our internal instincts are asking this and that. Now to break that, so you need to have a strong effort, particularly when the defilements are pretty strong at the beginning, what we call as the 5 hindrances. So you have a lot of sensual desire. Easily you get angry, and often you fall asleep. Even while hearing Dhamma sermon, probably you might fall asleep. Maybe have a lot of regrets about the past, what you have done. A lot of regrets are also there. Time to time telling you, you are not deserving this kind of a practice. You have done that thing, you have done this thing. So you are such a bad person. So this thing is not good for you. You are not deserving this thing. Or you don't have what that Trihetuka, what something, that is also not there. So there are enough reasons telling you, okay, you can't do it. So many discouraging reasons are also coming out. And again, the mind also very restless. You can't sit quietly, and at least 10 minutes you can't sit quietly. You can't sit in a cross-legged posture. Body become restless because the mind also very restless. And a lot of doubts. You have doubts about the teaching, maybe doubts about the meditation technique, maybe about the teacher. Many doubts are there. That also appear like a huge barrier. Now, in order to overcome all those hindrances, a fair amount of effort is required. So at the beginning, therefore, you have to have a strong effort. Because still the defilements or these hindrances are pretty powerful. That's why we need to understand that. That's why we are gathering here like this. So given up everything and not talking about them, and we administer the precepts, observe precepts, and then dedicate ourselves, no talking and not eating even at night. So these are kind of, the kind of a discipline also we are now trying to incorporate into the picture, because the defilements are so powerful, hindrances are so powerful at the beginning, so very much like a difficult task. Now, that's why Buddha mentioned, Venerable Sariputta mentioned, Thamava, strong, dalha parakkamo, and very firm exertion, very firm effort. Anikhitta duro kusalesu dhammesu. Now you have taken up the challenge, now don't stop it. So what happened is, you might have taken up the challenge, okay, I'm going to do it. But after 1 week, no results, probably drop it. After 2-3 weeks, still not any kind of a tangible result, there's a possibility, oh, it's not going to work for me, that teacher is not good, or maybe the practice is not the correct one for me, I have to try something else. So likewise, so if we are expecting quick results, that is also something we might get discouraged. And there are a lot of body pains also, that is also a discouraging factor. And there is no rewards also much coming from the government or someone not rewarding you. Say you can't produce your certificate telling, okay, I have participated in this many Kalalgoda retreats. They won't reward like that. So I mean, nothing much you can economically, financially, there is nothing. So why are you still coming here? So nowadays everything is for money. So you can't gain that kind of any kind of reputation or maybe financial benefit out of this kind of practice. So you can see, I mean, these are the things that typically people are appreciating, but now we are going in a different path, going against the grain. So that's why we need to have a strong effort and not giving up in between. Anikhitta duro kusalesu dhammesu. So if you have this kind of an effort, Venerable Sariputta gives a different name for that. Yang hissahi bhante viriyam tadassa viriindriyam. So this is bhante is called the faculty of effort. So time to time you feel, okay, I want to get up a little early today. Some days are like that. Okay, I want to get up a little early. I want to do a walking meditation. Let me sit also. Probably during the lunch hour also I need to practice. So assume that you are a person who is working, and while you are working also you are having some kind of energy. Okay, let me try to develop mindfulness even during the office hours. So quite a lot of effort is there. But certain other days, not such amount of effort is there. You may get late to wake up, and so you miss your walking, you might miss your sitting. So those kinds of up and downs are there. And probably while sitting, assume that you fall asleep and the whole hour wasted. Sometimes you feel like that, and sometimes while sitting you couldn't properly navigate the path, you couldn't properly balance, so that you end up with maybe a headache. That's also possible. So many disturbances are there. So while you are sitting, maybe adjacent noise is coming, so you get disturbed. Maybe you didn't receive lunch on time. You get really upset, because even the night, the dinner also going to be missed. So many things are there. So on such occasions, how are you going to bring back your effort, bring back your mind back to the the proper situation? So all that is the part of the effort. Actually, all these difficulties, all these disturbances are helping us to grow the effort. Without these kind of difficulties, without these kind of challenges, we won't develop this effort. That is also another angle we can look at it. So don't think that you are going to have a very smooth path as typically we wish. Very smooth, no disturbances, no barriers, no any challenges. So you attain Nibbana very smoothly, one sitting, done. It may not happen. It's just a wish. So therefore all these barriers, all these obstacles, actually we have to look at from an angle. It is giving me some spiritual quality, or it's adding some spiritual strength to myself. If you are able to look at that, so you can understand the people who have gone through a lot of obstacles, say during their childhood, maybe they are not having enough money. They have gone through a lot of hardships, but they become fairly successful. And if you recognize yourself as a professional, say you are a doctor, you are an engineer, whatever. If you look back your past, if you look back your childhood, is your parents are really providing you a luxurious environment, or are you a person who has gone through a lot of hardships and did a lot of studies and went through difficulties, and ultimately you become a successful character? So if a person has gone through a fair amount of hardships, and if he is with a lot of determination, a lot of effort, he is going to win the race, win the target, or achieve whatever he wants, and he become a strong character because he is developing effort through going through these hardships. So he is not going to give up in between. Now this is valid even for kind of a mundane achievement. Suppose that you have a kind of a determination as a child. I want to be successful with my education. So you can't do that without such an effort, just by mere wish. So time to time different difficulties might happen. So you have to overcome them. You have to again rise up. So likewise, so effort is one very important task in our practice, particularly at the beginning, a strong effort. And as we are continuing, probably you might understand, okay, certain days I am very, very effortful. On that day I can do anything. I can sit for long hours. I can walk for many hours. I can even listen to several Dhamma sermons. I have a lot of effort, energy coming from myself. And there are certain other days, not such effort is available, no much energy is coming out. So you feel that difference. There you can understand, okay, there's a quality called effort now being developed in me. Previously I didn't recognize as such. I have heard something is called virya, something is called effort, but I haven't really touched that from myself. But now assume that you have gone through several years of practice, you went through a lot of hardships, couldn't practice for some time, again you rise up. Say you fall asleep, but next time you are trying back. Maybe end up with a headache, you navigate that somehow, you are able to properly go through it. Didn't get up early morning, couldn't participate in the sitting, but next day you are doing it. So likewise you can understand, so this whole path, even the sitting, even the walking, is a kind of an up and down process. It is not a smooth navigation. Some days it's successful, some days it is kind of a failure. But these failures are the ones helping us to develop the effort. So we think the opposite. Okay, today my meditation is not good. Today many noise available and many disturbances. I couldn't come to my blissful, my excellent blissful experience. I couldn't have that. Today is a bad day for me. It's not for a day for myself. So you can have a lot of such kind of prejudices, but actually on such occasions there is a possibility that you are developing effort, because when your mind says you can't do it, or probably it is not a successful day, still actually you can rise up, you can exert effort, and slowly you can understand, okay, even today I am able to do it. So likewise, all these ups and downs, all these vicissitudes in our life is kind of countable. So they are kind of, they are kind of contributing towards our practice. And ultimately you feel, okay, after some years, so I can understand, okay, I have something called energy, I have something called effort. Some days I am pretty effortful, and there are certain days I am not that effortful. And as a faculty, as a spiritual quality, now you understand there is something called effort available in my mind. So that you need to distinctly recognize. Previously there was no something. Someone has persuaded you Some kind of a sermon or discussion has sort of initiated you, given you some kind of a thought to practice. Maybe the faith has given you a reason to practice, but after continuing of practice, you understand, okay, now there's a spiritual quality called effort is available in my mind. This is one thing. So after saying like this, Venerable Sariputta now go to the next level. He say, Saddassahi bante, Arya Savakassa, Aradha Viryasa Etam Patikampa. Now he accumulate all the two qualities, Saddassahi bante. Now he has faith. Arya Savakassa, Aradha Viryasa. Now he has started effort. For him, now he can expect another level. What he is going to do? Yang satima bhavisati paramena sati nepakkena samannagatu chirakatampe chirabhasitampe sarita anusarita yahissahi bhante sati sadassa sati indriyam. Now he start the mindfulness practice. So he had faith. Faith has given him an opportunity to overcome. It is asking him to overcome unwholesome states and try to develop wholesome states. For that he is having an effort, and it's a kind of a strong effort, not giving up in between. And now, as a result of that, now he is start practicing mindfulness because he understood, okay, mindfulness is a requirement. I often forget things. I often unmindful. My mind is basically not in the present moment. Always maybe fantasizing, maybe daydreaming, maybe regretting. A lot of worries are there. So this kind of a mind is not going to be helpful. So I can't understand the Buddha's teaching with this kind of a scattered mind. Let me be mindful. Now you have to exert effort to develop mindfulness. Now you have to find out, how am I going to develop mindfulness? Say you are practicing mindful walking. And while you are mindfully walking, say you are trying to basically walk several steps, again mind get distracted. Another few steps, again mind get distracted. Few steps, another, again mind get distracted. While the other yogis are very calm, very quiet, almost like absorbed. But you wonder, so what happened to me? I mean, I am trying my heart, my mind gets always wandering, always getting distracted. Others are very peaceful. I am not going to win this race. Again you collapse. So what's going you to help at this level? Effort. Because you understood, okay, it's not giving you a kind of a successful result. So the mind says, I am not going to work. It's not going to work for you. So many excuses are there. Again you might collapse. So the effort has to come to save you. That is, nobody else will come. Maybe a kind of an encouragement coming from a Kalyana Mitra, and by even looking at some other yogis, they are quite effortful. You also get encouraged. That is also there. That's why we are working as a group. But anyway, effort is the very close reason for you to again rise up. Again you are going, even though you are unsuccessful, even though it appear like a failure, you still continue your practice. Even next time again you are trying to practice. Suppose you couldn't practice, you got sick and couldn't walk. Say you got a leg fracture or something went wrong, so couldn't walk several months. How are you going to practice walking meditation? So now assume that after several months you are coming back, again went to the walking path, everything like scattered, you have to start from the beginning. Very difficult, quite discouraging. And you are trying to achieve the past experience immediately. That's also not going to happen. You have a strong expectation, that also appear like a barrier now. Many difficulties are there. So now again you have to put yourself in the correct track. Start from the beginning, go from as a beginner, and again slowly, somehow, after some strenuous effort, maybe you are back on the track. So this is the life, this is the meditative life. You can see how many collapses have happened in your life. You can understand how many times you have skipped your, maybe the sitting, how many times you have skipped your walking, and what are the obstacles came on your way and how you have overcome them. So all these things are actually telling us, okay, this is a kind of a path. That path itself has a lot of obstacles, and we all have to go through them. And slowly, by the way, now we are having certain amount of mindfulness. After some time you feel, okay, now as a result of the practice, now I can walk from this end to the other end mindfully with no distraction. Now as a result of the practice, not by mere wish or spellbound or something like that, but you have to work hard. As a result of practice, now you can say, I can walk from this end to the other end without any kind of a distraction. Now even the turning part, that's become a challenge at the beginning, but later you are able to overcome that. That is also now able to accomplish, and now even several rounds you can mindfully walk, mindfully sit. Say several breaths you can watch mindfully. Maybe 100 breaths you can watch mindfully. Maybe various sensations you can watch mindfully. And you can eat mindfully. Maybe you can dress yourself mindfully. You can brush your teeth mindfully. Slowly. So mindfulness is now growing, expanding. And one advantage of this is the improved memory. So you can see, so mind is not cluttered now. Mind has some amount of clarity. So as someone mentioned during today's discussion, so as a result of the mindful walking practice, you can see now mind is not cluttered. Mind is getting more and more clearer and less distractions. You are able to observe about yourself what's really going on. That's an initiated, ongoing monitoring process with you. And you can remember what you have done. In the morning, once you get up, so you establish mindfulness. And you know how you went to the washroom. You know how you brush your teeth. And you know how you wash your face. And what exactly the clothes that you have worn. And what are the things that you have taken as for your breakfast. And somehow those are very much like recorded, because every aspect that you have gone through mindfully, that mind is fairly clean, fairly clear, and you are well grounded. Whatever the activity that you are doing, and you are doing it wholeheartedly. Now typically what happens is, when we are doing something, our mind is completely distracted. So whatever the activity that we are doing is not properly recorded in ourselves, in the mind. At another time, if you want to retrieve it, still it is impossible, because it is not properly recorded, stored. On the other hand, even during the retrieval process, your mind is scattered. But on the other hand, assume that when you are studying something, you are able to develop mindfulness, you are able to keep your attention, less distractions, mind is very clear and well grounded, and you are reading the book and you want to memorize it, you are trying your best, and maybe at another time you want to retrieve that information. Even that time you are mindful, mind is clean, so you can remember, you can memorize what exactly you want to write or what exactly you want to take out. So therefore, in this memorization process, there are two aspects typically found in science. So one thing is that storing process. So when you are reading, when you are learning, that you are in a way storing the information for future use. That storing, during that storing process, the mind has to be very clean, well mindful, without any disturbances, without any distractions. Then you are able to grasp what is available, well stored. And now you have another occasion to retrieve it, maybe several months ahead, maybe 1 year ahead. Now you want to retrieve it. Even that time you have to have a very clean mind, establish mindfulness. Now you are putting kind of a trigger to retrieve that information. Probably it may come out quickly. So likewise, so the answer, or rather the indication given here by Venerable Sariputta, telling as a kind of a result of the developed mindfulness, now you have developed memory. He is explaining like yang satima bhavissati paramena sati nepakkena samannāvatu. That means he is having very good mindfulness, and that is mindfulness and very clear comprehension. You can distinctly know each and every little detail. Chira katampi chira bhasitampi sarita anusarita. You can remember even the things you did very long time ago. You can remember even the words what you have uttered long time ago. Chira katampi chira bhasitampi sarita anusarita. You can remember that. So such kind of a very interesting characteristic is here, and that level, Venerable Sariputta say, is the faculty of mindfulness. Another way we can actually explain it, you can understand, okay, there are certain days after I am going through my practice, there are certain days I feel that I am mindful from the moment that I have woke up. Everything very much like I can remember. How, as I just mentioned, how I woke up and how I went to the washroom, how I brushed my teeth, maybe what I ate during the breakfast, each and every activity. So everything is very much like very clear and very sharp, and you didn't forget things. So likewise, there's a well-established mindfulness available with you. But there are maybe other days which are not that mindful. Mind is little cloudy, and you often forget certain things, and it's not that sharp. So likewise, you can understand now this quality has some ups and downs. There is a quality in the mind now separately developed as a result of the practice, that is the mindfulness, and there are ups and downs in the mindfulness. There are certain days where you are very, very sharp mindfulness, and there are other occasions you are not that mindful. The time that you are pretty mindful, sharp mindfulness is available, so that is the faculty of mindfulness. Now you can see saddha. The faith has made you to start an effort. Because if there was no faith, you may not even start that. Because faith is the one who actually drives you to start it. So you get a little bit of faith about the teacher, faith about the Buddha. Buddha has talked about this. Buddha has taught the Satipatthana Sutta. Many people are talking about it. It may be true. So you have that kind of a, not a really verified faith, but kind of a, a belief. People are talking about it. Buddha has so much admired about it. He's again and again asking to develop it. So let me also try that. Maybe it is true. Maybe it is helpful. Maybe it is helpful to remove my forgetfulness. So you are trying yourself because that initiation coming from the faith. But the path is difficult. Many obstacles are there. You need effort. So you are developing fair amount of effort to continue your path. So the effort alone is not enough. So you need fair amount of effort. Without an effort, you can't do it. That's why it may take even several years to have a fair amount of mindfulness, depending on how often you are practicing. Because sometimes you come on 2 days retreat and there is no practice at all for several weeks. Again you are practicing. Again no practice for several weeks. How long are you taking to develop? Another person say he is very energetic, he is waking up early, There may be a lot of duties. He is trying to be mindful. He is trying to be mindful on various other activities also. Time to time he is going for participating into retreats, and he is not allowing it to fade away, and he is quite careful about how he is continuing his path. So he is so concerned about it. You can see the differences. An energetic person who is not allowing the mindfulness, the developed mindfulness to fade away, he is trying to maintain it at least. So likewise, slowly, so he is gaining certain amount of faith that has resulted in him to exert effort, and now he is into the practice, and that practice is now slowly he is internalizing. Previously it was something like outside, but now it is very much like an internalized practice. So you develop mindfulness. Now I can be mindful, and you can verify it. You can verify I can walk several, say, rounds without much distraction. I can maintain mindfulness to the breathing, say half an hour without much distraction. Maybe I can do various daily activities without much distraction. So likewise you start feeling that something has developed. So after some practice, after putting some effort, then you feel, okay, something has developed. Oh, this is the mindfulness. This is the quality that someone was talking. This is the quality that Buddha was talking. This is the quality that Satipatthana has mentioned. Now I also have that for some extent. From your own life, now you need to feel that. Can you all hear? Yeah? So you can see, now from your own life, from your own practice, now you can recognize kind of a skill being developed within you. It's a kind of a skill now. So that skill has helped you even to memorize what has done some time ago. Probably you might not really want to memorize, but all of a sudden kind of really coming out here. Maybe you wanted to memorize, you want to recall something, easily you can recall. This is an added advantage actually we might have as a result of development of mind. On the other hand, as we continue, now this person is now continuing. Now whenever Sariputta is going to the next level, he is telling, Saddassahi bante, Arya Savakassa, Aradha Viryatsa, Upattita Satino, Etam Patikam. Now he has faith, he is developing effort, he has now recognized what is effort, and he has the amount of mindfulness now. Aradha Viryatsa, Upattita Satissa, he is maintaining the amount of mindfulness. Now, Etam Patikam, now he can expect this kind of another result. What is that? Yang Vasantarammanam Karitva Labissata Samadhi Labissata Chittassa Ekaggatam Yomisa Bhante Samadhi Tadasya Samadhi Hune. Now, say for example, he is practicing Anapanasati. So previously he was able to maintain mindfulness only for 5 minutes. Say one after the other, 5 minutes only. After that, some distraction. Say again he is trying, but only 5 minutes. One after the other, only 5 minutes. Now next time, the development helps him to achieve maybe 7 breaths. Now he can continue for 7 breaths. Now further practice help him to achieve 10 breaths. Further practice help him to achieve 20 breaths. Hope you all hear. So we have to arouse effort. Disturbances are coming, so try to develop effort. If you need, you can come forward. So Till the lightning comes, you can continue. So the next level is actually this Venerable Sarvabhauma mentioned. Now this person is further developing mindfulness, and that helps him to understand. I can maintain attention on breathing continuously for 100 reps. For example, now he is in the walking path. Now he can understand, okay, mind becomes less distracted now. I can maintain mindfulness throughout the round. From this end to the other end, even the turning and even the coming back. I can maintain mindfulness. The attention is very much like collected. I am well rounded. Less distractions. Maybe assume that you are practicing rising and falling. Say you can maintain rising and falling even for 100 rising and falling. Not without much distraction. And even mind gets distracted, it quickly comes back to you. You feel that your mind has collected. Your attention has somewhat collected within you. It's very much like you are with yourself. Less distraction. Now a very interesting challenge happens at this level. Say you are practicing Apana, mindfulness of breathing. Previously the breath was not that clear, but now as a result of the practice it becomes very, very clear. You can understand even the beginning, the middle, the end, maybe a little gap, that also you can understand. Beginning, the middle, the end of the out breath, that also you can understand. There may be a little gap. The next in-breath, beginning, middle, end, you can understand. So you are developing clear comprehension. And as you continue, several breaths you can continue, maybe 100 breaths. So what happens next? What happens next? What do you think? So the breathing becomes subtler and subtler. So previously it is quite evident, each and every aspect is visible, but now you feel it is not visible, right? It's become very subtle. All the aspects previously you were able to capture, you were able to recognize, comprehend, but now this information becomes blurred or very small, very short, breath becomes very short, very subtle, and probably you might even doubt what has happened. Is my mindfulness has sort of weakened, or I was in a kind of lethargic state. So what has happened? Or even at that moment there may be various sights. The various sights can appear in your mind. You can get distracted. Various signs, perceptions can happen in your mind, and you might even completely get distracted. And these are another bottlenecks actually we encounter during the practice. Because we have gone through a very subtle process. Breathing has become subtler and subtler, very refined. At that time you see a very beautiful image. Assume it's a very beautiful Buddha image. So what are you going to do? Offer some flowers? So after a long time, Buddha came to give me a samatha. Or are you going to ignore it and come back to the breathing? But breathing was also very subtle. Which one is more preferred? What do your mind would ask you to do? So those are the distractions, those are the challenges. So there you have to ignore what you see. All that illusions, all that visualizations you have to ignore, but you have to come back to breathing. But it is very boring, very subtle, very refined. You have to come back to breathing. So that is further developing fair amount of collectedness of your mind, because this perception is a distraction. You can understand, maybe the sound is a distraction. We understand. Maybe someone's talk is a distraction. Maybe a pain, maybe a distraction. Maybe a thought about the past, about the future is a distraction. How about the mental image? Isn't it a distraction? Ask yourself. So during that process, when the breathing has become very subtle, so even this image is a huge distraction. But unfortunately, since it's a very beautiful image, we might give priority to that. We might give our attention to that, and ultimately we completely go off the track. Suppose while your breathing becomes very subtle, a past relative might appear. So what are you going to do? Are you going to do anumodana and count some minutes? Stop your meditation and count some minutes because he is asking some minutes. You imagine like that. Or you understood it as a mere distraction and come back to your breathing. So these are the obstacles in a way. So you not only that you are practicing here the mindfulness, you have to have a very clear attention, comprehension, and again, not to get carried away by these perceptions, various images, signs. Suppose your breathing becomes very, very subtle and you start hearing some voices, maybe a very beautiful tone, kind of a very soft melody, maybe Panadure chanting. What are you going to do? Start listening to it. You want to record it, want to tell it to someone. Maybe arahants have come to bless you. Maybe some God, Brahma, someone coming here to advise you. Or you recognize it as a mere distraction. So these are the challenges. Now we are going to a very refined state. Breathing is becoming very soft, very refined, very subtle. And challenge is these different visualizations, these different sounds, and sometimes even others. Very subtle distractions but appear like very vivid. Remember that. Your eyes are closed, mind very refined, breathing has soft, very refined. Image is really a vivid image. At that moment, if you are able to properly handle that, ignore that and come back to breathing, maintain your attention on breathing, then you are successful. Suppose now you are further developing. Now one bottleneck you are able to overcome, one challenge you are able to overcome. Now still maintaining your attention on the breathing. Breathing is very soft, very subtle, no distractions. And you are not changing your posture, not falling asleep, you are not changing the object. There are many pitfalls, remember that. So all these we have to go through. And now, the next challenge is going to come. What's the next challenge? Breathing completely disappears. Breathing completely disappears. So what are you going to do? One thing is fall asleep. Another thing is, say you change the object, because no object, this breathing is that you expect it to be there so that you can hang on to it. But even that has fairly disappeared, and now there is nothing to hold on. You can change the object. That is one option that the mind would say. Another thing is that previous friend, the Buddha image might appear, or the past relative might appear, or the Panadure chanting can happen, or pleasant order can happen. So what are you going to say? Buddha image? Again coming back to maybe the nostril, but no breathing. So we have gone through Anapana as an example. So slowly we were able to develop mindfulness, slowly, able to maintain 50 breaths, able to maintain 100 breaths. Now you are somewhat confident, less distractions, good. Now you start recognizing very subtle aspects of breathing, the middle, the beginning, the middle, end, gap, beginning, middle, end, gap. Full cycle you are able to comprehend, very soft, very subtle. Breathing becomes subtler and subtler, almost like disappear. Not get distracted, not fall asleep, not being deluded by various other illusions, visualizations, and you are able to maintain your attention at the nostril continuously, even without an object. So this is where when Vipassana say the faculty of samadhi, faculty of concentration. So you can see it is not the mere concentration. It's a kind of a challenging situation where even you can't perceive a gross object. Object has almost disappeared and you have nothing much to hang on. Even such situation, how are you maintain your attention at the nostril? So a pretty challenging situation. So on such situation also, without not getting distracted, without falling asleep, without changing the object, without having doubts, if you are able to maintain your attention just at the nostril as it is, then you are very much like concentrated. Your attention is well collected. You are here, well concentrated. You are in that faculty of concentration. So different levels of concentrations are there. Say, once you are putting your attention to a particular object, the vitakka, applied mind is there. Say, when you are recognizing that object, you are doing a little bit of search, investigation, the vichara is there. And as you are being successful, less distraction, so you are quite happy, rapture is there, a little bit of happiness is there. And body becomes comfortable, the mind becomes comfortable, the comfort is there, the happiness is there, the sukha is there. And now the ekaggata is also there, concentration is also there, the one-pointedness is also there. The 5 jhana factors are there, the concentration factors are there. Now only you understood, okay, now you have unwavering mind, well-established mind, well-focused attention. Where is your attention? Maybe at the nostril. Suppose you did the rising and falling, fine. You went through the same process, say rising and falling also disappeared, but you are simply keeping your attention closer to the abdomen, not changing yourself, not changing the posture, not changing the object, not falling asleep, but just maintaining your attention there even though you can't feel much, without distraction. Then we can roughly say, okay, we have achieved the level of faculty level of the concentration. So this is the kind of an explanation when Vipassana is giving about the several faculties now. How many faculties now we have discussed? We started with Saddha, but the faculty Saddha is not mentioned. You know that Buddha asked a question. So, Sariputta, there is a person who has some kind of dedicated faith on the Buddha and very pleasant feeling about the Buddha, and he has faith, he has a trust, confidence on the Buddha. That is how Buddha put it like. So when Sariputta also started like that, he didn't mention about the faculty of faith, by the way. So what that faith has led him to do? To start something, to start the practice, putting the effort. He is now energetic. I also want to develop. So he is starting it and he is continuing it. Even though obstacles are coming on his way, still he is continuing. Even though fall asleep, still waking up again continuing. Even though body pains, aches are there, still continuing. So that is the effort. So it is taking him to the faculty of effort, and then he starts practicing mindfulness, and it has come to the level of faculty, the mindfulness faculty. Now we just discussed about the faculty of concentration. So 3 faculties now we already have discussed. What else available? Faculty of wisdom and faculty of faith. So we haven't discussed the faculty of faith actually. That's why this sutta ultimately takes us to that faculty of faith also. So we discuss that on tomorrow. So very, very interesting sutta and very beautifully summarizing the 5 spiritual faculties, but in a more advanced way and more descriptive way. And with that note, I conclude today's Dhamma sermon, keeping some space to discuss the other 2 faculties on tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening. So that's a small, short sharing of merits. Today lunch dana was offered by Ranjani Samarajiva, Manisha Samarajiva, Dinesha Leenage, who celebrated their birthdays in the month of November. Those 3 little girls, right? May their Dhamma path be easy and quick. May all their sublime wishes come true. Okay, so that is the wish for today, and so we all gathered here and we practice to the best of our ability. And whatever the merits that we have accumulated, we share with all the past relatives, we share this merits with all the celestial beings, and we share this merits with all the beings who are in need of merits. And we wish these merits help us also develop these 5 faculties and to attain path, bhojan, nibbana. While keeping these good wishes in our mind, let's recite the traditional verses. Ettavata cha amhehi sampatam punya sampradam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha amhehi sampatam punya sampradam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha amhehi sampatam punya sampatam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummantha devanaga mahittika punyantam anumoditva chiram rakhantu sasanam. Akasattha ca bummantha devanaga mahittika anumoditva chiram rakhantu desanam. Akasattha ca bummantha devanaga mahittika punyantam anumoditva chiram rakhantu mam param. Idam mo jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idam mo jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idam mo jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Imina punya kammena mami bada samagamo satam samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mami bada samagamo satam samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mami bada samagamo satam samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.